Ever since I started doing the box squats with the SSB and doing the wide stance, I've been thinking about how I can turn on my mind to these muscles which are responsible for external rotation of the femur. The whole thing about doing box squats is that, and wide stance box squats, is that you're supposed to be pushing your feet out or rotating your femur out. So like, pushing the knees out. And the funny thing is, man, even when I'm using an empty bar, it's almost like I have a difficulty in turning on the right muscles. I don't even know how it feels to externally rotate to that extent, to continuously push the knees out. So yesterday I did that 140 kilo, really wide 17-inch box squats. And it felt good, but I felt continuously there was a struggle to turn on the right muscles. So I go back in the house yesterday, I shower and I eat, and I'm sitting there, I'm thinking to myself, man, how could I increase the central nervous system awareness, the nervous system awareness of these muscles? And then it occurred to me, horse stance. What is a horse stance? It's essentially squatting to parallel or thereabouts and continuously pushing your knees out and holding it there isometrically. Isometric contraction in that position. Surely that's going to continuously be reminding my body, this is what we need to do. This is what it feels like. So anyway, I got into a horse stance, and I'm quickly learning that I have a lot of muscles which are turned on to prevent me from being in the horse stance. So my adductors are really, really tight, hip flexors are really tight, and so I can't spread my knees out and hold that position. Anyway, I started doing sets of 30 seconds. I ended up doing 10 sets of 30 seconds, and my knees were shaking like this. 30 seconds. I can't even get 30 seconds without shaking. So clearly there's a nervous system fight happening in my mind. I'm trying to turn on the right muscles, but the opposite side of these joints are too turned on, right? They're too turned on, and they're kind of shutting off the opposite. While I was doing this, I'm looking at Louis Simmons again. One of you boys actually linked in one of your comments Louis Simmons talking about or showing somebody how to do a wide stance box squat, and he's saying how basically they've done some research in quad activation comparing narrow stance to wide stance, and apparently they found no difference. So Louis keeps going on about if you go wide stance and you get really strong at wide stance, you are inherently going to be strong at narrow. But if all you do is train narrow, you're going to struggle going wide. So he basically concluded that going wide takes care of everything. Same with sumo. If you go sumo, you're going to be a good conventional deadlifting. So I'm sitting there, I'm like, man, I gotta do something to kind of get more turned on, more aware of my body in space in this wide position. It's not that it hurts, but it almost feels like so tight and so crampy and so shaky that I'm not comfortable doing that. And so when I put the bar on my back and I do a safety squat bar or I do a straight bar, it feels awful, man. It feels like I just want to cave my knees in and I want to bend over and I want to go into a hinge pattern straight away. That's what I want to do. But in a wide stance, you're supposed to be standing upright and pushing the knees out. That's what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be a more squatty, up and down, elevator type of motion in a wide stance. But as soon as you go narrow, I automatically go into a hinge. And this is why my squats feel like a hinge. And so today it's been like 7 odd days or something like that, probably eight days since I last done a proper back squat with the straight bar. So I did that. Still fatigued from the other day. I ended up hitting 180 for 3. And I'm looking at the footage and I'm like, man, that is a hingy pattern. That's not a squatty pattern, it's hingy. And I'm looking at the stance and it's narrow. And so I'm kind of thinking about all of this. Okay, there's probably a correlation there. I'm not very comfortable in wide stance. I'm very comfortable in narrow. When I'm in narrow, I go into a hinge. When I'm in wide, I have basically no strength. And even in wide, I want to go into a hinge. So if I can get better at doing wide stance squats, control the descent and go up. Fellow bird saying what's up. Oh God. Before my bird interrupted me, I need to get better at wide. Basically, that's what I'm trying to do. Then come down here and explain to them why I'm crappy and wide. Where are you? Anyway, so horse stance. It is cheap. It turns on the nerves. It makes you aware of some of these muscles which are responsible for keeping you in the wide. While I was on a little kind of rabbit hole journey last night through YouTube, listening to different people give their perspectives on the horse stance. It originated in martial arts. The monks do it. Wide. It's interesting because when I first started falling in love with training, I was falling in love with the narrow. Little did I know that if I fell in love with the wide, I'd probably be in a much better position than I am now. So wide is something that I don't enjoy, and I know why I don't enjoy it, because I'm crap at it. But last night, as I was doing the horse stance, I was walking around the house and my hips felt unlocked. I felt effortless doing the narrow stance squat body weight. So there's something there. The horse stance, I think, can be done in kind of like a grease the groove type of thing, right? So you just, anytime you kind of think of it, get down and do 30 seconds. You don't have to go to the point where you're shaking and everything's breaking off. No, just remind your body that this is a position that we want to get good at. And this is where greasing the groove is awesome. And I also want to say, I'm not too familiar with this, but I think isometric contractions don't produce a lot of DOMs. I think. I'm not 100% sure about that. I mean, I'll find out in the next coming days. But my plan is to do horse stance whenever I can. Maybe warm up every single day with it. I still want to do my jumps. I still want to do my marching. I also want to do horse stance. But yeah, I don't know. The whole thing is about pushing the knees out. So I'll show you guys here. I'll put the video up now of the 180 for 3. And you can see that it's very much a hingy butt back squat. It's basically, I'm trying to avoid sending my knees laterally or out. I want to keep my knees in, and knees in means butt back. So you notice that as soon as I have a narrow stance means my knees are in, and when knees are in, that has to be coupled with hips back. There's just no way, two ways about it. But if you go knees out, then butt comes in. See how it's an opposite thing? So the two teams are knees in, butt back, or knees out, butt in. Now the butt in, knees out is a vertical squat. That's how it is. And so when I do a horse stance, I'm very upright. I'm very, very upright because my knees are way, way, way out. Anyway, that's all I wanted to say on that. Here, I'll do 30 seconds for you guys, and you see how crappy I am. So I've already done 7 sets this morning. I'll do another few sets before work, hopefully. I'll do one now. So here you go. Maybe this is already set up. Maybe you can see. So, yay. I'll just count it in my head. Usually I set the timer on my phone, but I'll go for 30 seconds. I'll time it. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Oh. So a couple of things that I feel when I do this. I feel my glutes contracting, right, as I'm trying to push my knees out. I also feel the piriformis as well, externally rotating. I feel my adductors stretching like crazy. I feel the contraction in them as well. And I feel my quads. I really, really feel my quads. So I think it's just a different angle. I think it's a different angle, and I think it's so healthy. I walk away right now. Look, like, my God, my knees, my hips feel so good. It's effortless to walk. My hip flexors are open. It's amazing. Simply, it's amazing. So I might not be talking about this every video from now on, but I'll be doing it in the background and tracking how it goes. The whole motivation is to get better at SSB wide stance squats. So I'm hoping this is going to turn on the nervous system to the muscles which are responsible for keeping the knees out. Anyway, guys, appreciate all of you guys, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace out.